I've always wanted the Technodrome Playset as a kid. Finally a good chance to get one. They've done a remake. Might just be on Amazon, it might come up in other stores. They're selling some of these redos of the old Ninja Turtle stuff. I'm going to open this up, check it out. As somebody that never had it as a kid, so I'm not going to do like a comparison thing. Obviously I've heard that it's smaller for whatever mysterious reason, but we'll just check out as it is, and I'll just say if it's got issues and things just looking at it now with this remake one. But I just want to have it to display with my other turtle stuff without having to hunt down the original that might be more expensive to get a hold of and complete. So about the same box art here, just no kid like playing with it with demonstration wise. They just removed that picture. And of course all across the back of the box showing all the features and stuff, because this is like a vehicle slash play set more so, just with all the features. So I just want to get it opened up because this box is hogging up a lot of space for me here. It's going to be a lot of assembly going on. There's so many pieces, I'm just going to have to take some time to put this together so we can look at everything that way. Finally, after a long time following all the directions, the stickers being the main problem of figuring out where all those go, we have an assembled Technodrome. Let me just say right off the bat, if you're like picky at all about these things, then this is not for you immediately. Like if you're gonna wait for like one flaw, like this is, just stick with the original or find an original, because I know you're gonna have tons of issues with this, and I'll go over issues I have with it, of course. I feel like first of all is like the eye at the top. It says to snap it into place. I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb. It doesn't really snap in place, and you wouldn't be able to snap it anyway, because then you couldn't use the feature where it does like pop off, which is this piece right here that you can kind of make like a ramp. If I kind of open this up a little bit so I can reach the trigger inside, you can release it to roll. But it doesn't really snap on there because it has to be loose. I don't know if the original one was loose up there, but you can't really roll around too freely or else that might fall off, and you have to be careful. Again, I have to look at this as somebody that never got to have the original one. I'd say the first problem is probably the stickers. It was a little unclear where some of them went. I guess there's some freedom for you here and there of what you want to do, how you want to put some of these. Some spots have a box and some don't. It's just kind of like, put the sticker. So I can't wait for everybody to point out like, you put the sticker on the wrong way. I love to see that. Go ahead and say, let me know. This is a remake, but I'm going to use some original figures just to show some of the features as we go through the whole thing. Here kind of we have the gun kind of thing where somebody's supposed to sit here maybe and use this. Not a lot of space, but they do fit there. You want to pretend he's kind of gunning the side there if they're using it as a tank. We have all the guns sticking out. We'll open it up and see how that's sticking out from the inside where I've put most of them. Here's kind of an entrance way here that would connect to that sewer playset originally. So it makes you kind of wonder if they would do that one. I think I'd have to skip that one because it would just be so huge. I don't know how I could possibly display that. I mean, maybe that would take my place in my display for all the figures to be on. I mean, this one's pretty big to put too. I certainly wouldn't be able to connect them like that. I don't think. They have to be their own separate thing. There's another gunning station on the outside. That's kind of all there is on the outside other than like I was showing you the eye. So here there's like tabs for these pieces that you had to attach so that we can kind of open up the playset bit. I'm going to go on this side first. This is like the Krang side. Like the sticker is like the dimensional portal. Then here we have a Krang that doesn't come with it, but that's his like spot there. He can go. And then this little cover here is supposed to be his escape thing. I guess he kind of fits through there to escape. Ah, you will not get me. It just kind of lays on there. I don't know. It's a little strange. So about the stickers here, we can see on this ammo spot where you're supposed to put like the extra accessories and things. This is where I get into problem where the stickers don't really stick, kind of coming off the plastic. So I maybe tried to use like a dot of glue to keep it, but then the glue kind of seeped through. So I'm kind of screwed either way. Either the stickers aren't on or I have to use glue, and it's very tricky to get it to not come through and kind of ruin it. So I'm mostly probably going to display this probably closed as the tank, just because that's kind of of more iconic as far as like seeing it on the show, the cartoon, and then even like the video games I would have been playing probably even more than watching the cartoon. That when you would fight like the Technodrome, you know, as like a boss or something, you know, just the shape. So little issues with the inside here. This is where you would put all the weapons and things. Extra weapons that the villains weren't really using at the time. Pretty handy because then you can still close it with all those in there to store. It's a good spot to put those. Obviously the sewer would probably be where you put the extra turtle weapons that way. That's about it for the features in this hemisphere, if you want to call it that. We have the middle, it's like the cage. These doors do kind of open up. You can have like the jail cell, which I always thought was really good to have for like a villain base, because you could always capture any character. You can have all the other like mutants and things that were friends with the turtles in here and make a mission out of rescuing them. You have one of the turtles themselves. You can have, you know, Splinter, April, whoever you want gets captured, and then the mission is infiltrating the Technodrome, sneak out. I could see myself playing that over and over with these. There's like a trap door at the top that if you just push a little bit, they'll fall down into the jail cell. Here's the steering wheel thing that does kind of turn the eye, but again, it doesn't really snap on there. A little wiggly. And the idea is you pull it down, and that's what rolls the eye away. Kind of as like a weapon or projectile or something like that. There's these little grooves here. They're kind of like little workstations or something. You can kind of put a figure there, I guess. It's a little strange. I guess it could be manning one of the outward guns or this steering wheel in that way. I have heard this is smaller than the original one. So I'm wondering if these spaces were a little bigger for the figures before, I don't know. Or even the jail cell here. Kind of see if a figure will just fit in there. I think maybe this area we might run into the trouble. We can put the little foot down. The foot. I think maybe this little seat here is supposed to be Shredder's area. And it kind of dips down in there, so supposed to be he can fit down in there, but I don't think he can really get down too well. You can have him a little bit to the side, which I guess lets you see what he's looking at exactly, but you can't really have him sit there straight on. So I don't know if it was better in the original one or what the deal is. I think the problem down here is probably this mutagen-y chamber here. We got the mattress that we're supposed to be able to trap a turtle in. I guess he just kind of fits, but maybe a little too big for the mutagen thing to loom over him with any kind of space. We didn't get any slime with this. I think they kind of had like a purple slime they would sell. I remember seeing that as a kid and wondering why it was purple instead of just only green mutagen. I think the bad guy kind of one they tried to brand as purple in some way. So you're supposed to put a drop of it here, and somehow I think some of these slime apparatuses looked cooler in the commercial than they were in reality. I always wanted something that had that, but I mean, you're just putting the slime and it's just kind of pouring out of a hole or something and dripping down. It's not really that amazing of a feature at all, really. So I'm not too let down by that. Again, I probably am not going to find myself playing with the features of this a whole lot. It is more a display piece just because I never got to have the Technodrome as a kid. Speaking of features, we have the little turntable here that latches on. We're supposed to strap a turtle into the trap. It's supposed to torture him by spinning, but the space is a little tight and you'll have to angle the turtle to even use this, but it's supposed to be some sort of torture device here. I don't know. It does work a little bit still, even with the sizing and thing. And if you're using this as the open playset, there's this little walkway that you can kind of put into place. There's only one, so you have to pick a side. There's two hemispheres to this thing. So just an extra little spot there. Supposed to have this guardrail piece too. Then it has these like shackles that you can kind of put different spots. But here's where it was kind of saying to store them. And you can trap a hero character maybe against the bars or here or somewhere if they just need to trap one of the heroes temporarily instead of putting him in the cage in the jail cell. Since you really would only want to put a few characters in there since there's not a ton of space, you wouldn't be able to get them out too easily. Then we have the secret door here, the foot symbol, that this actually kind of opens up here, a little ramp kind of bit, and this is actually a door if you pull it up to get into the jail cell. Another entrance from this side, it's a secret door because you can kind of put this down, put this one, and it just kind of looks like maybe there's nothing there, it's just a panel and stuff. So there's a couple cool play things here that I know I would have loved to have as a kid, and obviously having that bigger original one is going to be better, of course. But if you're like me and never got to have it as a kid, here's the remake available. And then, you know, it's going to come with all the accessories. You get the fresh stickers that you can place yourself if you want them or not. I did kind of look at this area here, like by the base and the cell. There's supposed to be all these like purple slime streaks. I've just decided I don't really want to put those because it's just kind of weird. You're going to put them all over. I mean, I don't know. I don't really get the look. I guess there's a few other spots that have like a purple slime goo thing going on. And then that's the slime you're supposed to buy and play with this set, since it has this little mutagen chamber thing as well. But I just decided not to do that one, so that's your choice. Problem is the stickers are not really sticking. I can see some that are just kind of like coming up from where they were, and there's no good way to really keep a sticker down without like a dot of glue, but then you risk the overflow since it's supposed to just lay flat. You have to be very like delicate, like barely any, like far less than any kind of drop, because any drop is just going to spread out and come out from behind the sticker. So it is smaller, but I don't really notice anything, I guess because I just don't know the original enough to be like, oh, there was way more space here before. I know they have to do some kind of difference so that somebody doesn't like put this one in an old box and try to sell it to you like as the original and trick you, you know, if it was the exact size and everything of the old one. So we have a little bit of difference there so that you don't get swindled when you're trying to buy original Turtle stuff. I mean, we know the real reason was just they probably saved some money and cheaped out, but there is that element too. But for me, finally getting to have this in this capacity and, you know, spending a lot less really and being able to get everything, I don't have any lost pieces like I'm sure there would be in a, you know, a child played with one from the very early 90s here. I like it for what I'm going to use it for, but if you're an absolute stickler and it's got to be one-to-one exact like the old ones, this is not the one to get then. You're going to be a sad, sad little boy with it, because I am disappointed with the stickers and stuff because that is kind of difficult. Well, some of the features not really working. It's like, well, I'm probably just going to close her up most of the time. I might display it open just because it is kind of a waste not to get to see all that stuff inside there. Might be a way I can display, you know, there is levels and things. We can kind of distribute some of the villains around. But I think it's just cool that, you know, I had a lot of the I was lucky to have what I had as a kid with like some extra vehicles and things for the turtles. But you could only have so much stuff, you know. Nobody had the full toy line back then unless they were, you know, putting them inside their mansion. But if you were that rich, you'd probably be playing the Ninja Turtle video games a lot more on all the systems and stuff too. This is a cool piece just to remember the original Turtle toy line, the original Turtles cartoon, and then even the video games of that time period where like this thing was like a boss and then even like a final level a lot of the times that you would go inside. A lot of different reasons to get it. It is a remake. It's a little smaller than the original one. The stickers are a little crappy, but just think you don't have to hunt down a dirty, brittle, lost piece version of the original one. It's a little easier and nicer to play around with. I'm not too afraid of throwing these remakes into my collection. I know what's original and what's remake. It's just getting to the fun part quicker than hunting down original ones that are kind of pricey to get all the accessories and things with. Typically, I am opening and showing the real original toys of the 90s and, you know, very closely adjacent decades on occasion. I'm not afraid of getting some of these remake things here just because that's exactly who they're for. Somebody like me that's always like, oh, I wish I would have had the Technodrome as a kid because it was awesome. Now here's a finally chance I can kind of play around with it, a version of it, and keep it on my shelf with all my old toys from when I was a kid. That's the kind of cool nostalgic stuff you like to see. This is where you want to be. Stick around. I'll see you in the next video.